Hi, I'm Marsha Mason, artist with Rancho Cordova Arts. We're bringing you fun, instructional videos every weekday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time. Today we're going to start exploring the wonderful world of leaves and foliage in your watercolors. It's pretty common to paint lawns and trees in bright colors, and then they just look way too bright, which can overpower our paintings. There's a good reason why this happens. Our language doesn't really have a lot of names for different greens, so our brains default to our idea of green rather than the actual visual sensation. So today we're going to look at some real leaves, really see how they usually are duller and darker than our idea of them, and check them on the reference charts I've made for pairs of watercolors that make greens. That's yellow and a blue. Now there are several strategies for making greens, and I'll be talking about those in different videos. But on this video, we're going to stick to mixing a pair of paints, blue and yellow, to get the colors we want. Now let's review how we're going to pick our two colors on this color chart. If you missed my video about the split primary system, you can find it on the Rancho Cordova Arts channel of YouTube. With this tool, we can control the hue, the color, and the saturation, the brightness or the dullness of each color. Now, here's the key. We're going to mix greens. The closer our blue and our yellow are on the color wheel, the brighter it's going to be. If we go a little farther on the chart, we're going to get duller colors. This way too, duller colors. And if we go way far on the chart, we're going to get the duller ones. So we're going to use single pigment paints. Check the label. It'll say PY, pigment yellow, and then a number. On the blue, it'll say PB, pigment blue. Check them. Now, I have cut some leaves from the yard, and we're going to see what we can find on our charts. So, this is a chart that the blue and the yellow are the closest together of any of my charts. And when you look at these greens, you see that these are duller and darker than this. So we're going to try colors that are farther away on the color wheel. Let's start with these two, which are a little farther apart. This has a cool yellow, a warm blue, and this has a warm blue and a cool yellow. So as you look at this top row is a pretty good one. You can see that we're kind of close here on the color for some of these leaves. There's a jasmine. It's not too bad, actually. This one might be a little grayer. Here's a coral bell. I think our coral bell is duller than any of these colors are getting us. And let's look at, these are both irises. And I think our irises also are a little grayer. So this is a phthalo blue with a permanent yellow deep. It's the isoindolone yellow, PY 110. And then the phthalo blue is PB, pigment blue 15. And this is pretty close on some of them, as is a cool yellow. This is a Benz yellow, PY 154. And French ultramarine blue, one of my favorite blues, PB, pigment blue 29. So these are possibilities for our pairs, but now we need something grayer. So I'm going to get to the chart of the colors that are the farthest apart to make green. And this should give me my dullest greens of the pairs of colors. So when I put this down, you see my greens are pretty dark up here. That's good. Let's try our irises. I think think I could probably be in here in the middle and get some nice iris color there. This one is actually grayer than my leaf. So depending on which yellow I picked on this, because they're both French ultramarine blue, I was able to reach it with one pair but not with the other. But I'm looking at this gray, gray, gray here and thinking that possibly, and maybe not, I could get my beautiful Tucrium. I think actually I could get it from here. Now, you have to remember that the back side of leaves is a different color. Now, here I can see that I could probably use this bluer tone with some water in the paint to get the back side of the leaf. So always remember the back side of your leaf can be a very different color, and showing that can make a difference on, well, there's a nice contrast, dark and light. Depending, like if the wind is blowing, you can show both colors of the leaves. Here's a rose, and this has some yellow on it. So I'm going to tell you about my favorite yellow for botanicals. It is the nickel azo yellow. It's also called transparent yellow, and it's PY150. And what happens with this is it starts out when it's at mass tone, which is right out of the tube, that thick, not diluted. It's rather brown, but as it is diluted with water, it changes in brightness, and it actually changes in color too. It becomes a cooler yellow down in here, not so browny, orangey. So when I look at this yellow here, I actually could use this color in there to pick up some of that yellow. It's known as a very good yellow for making botanicals. So if you choose to make some realistic greens for leaves, I'd encourage you to get that. I did want to point out that, yes, this one right here. What's this one? These yellows, as you see, kind of stay just about the same brightness and color. They don't get cooler or warmer as it goes down. This is the permanent yellow deep. But this nickel azo does definitely change, and you get a lot of richer colors and more greens as you go across. So I'm going to show you the other thing that makes mixing greens a little tricky, and that is that paint, whether it's wet or dry, is different. So this is a dry leaf that I painted from a Prussian blue. That's an iron pigment. And what yellow did I use on that? I used the nickel azo, our botanical yellow on that. Now, I just painted that. It has dried. And now I'm going to take that same paint and paint right beside it. And you can see, this is the same puddle of paint I just used. You can see that it looks brighter. Much brighter. And let's see, I think maybe I need a little more paint on that. I think my puddle actually dried out a little bit too much. So I'm going to make a little more. There we go. A little brighter. And I'm supposed to be showing you that it's darker too, but actually I think I had more paint on my dry leaf than I have on this. There we go, now it looks darker. And as this dries, it's going to dull out a bit and get a little lighter. The iron blue makes gorgeous, gorgeous greens for foliage, but it does fade quite a bit as it dries. So what I really want you to do with this is to start looking at foliage. I mean, really look at it so that we can replace that idea of the greens in plants with what's actually there. Now there's our rose. This is an orange tree. This is brighter than that one. So I'm going to pull this and see if we can get a green. No, that is too dull. I can't get there from here. And maybe this is not too bad, but let me try this one. I think that's a little bright. So I would say this bright yellow is actually going to be the closest I can get to that. Then we have azalea. Let's see. Azalea I can definitely get in here with the French ultramarine blue and the nickel azo, the transparent yellow. And here's a gray. Oh, this is an old, we'll get our new and old coral bells, heuchera. And they probably not there. Need it to be a little bit grayer. Grayer. Where are you? There you go. Well, maybe not quite that. Oh, that's pretty close. So you can approximate depending on which two paints you use in your pair. Now, if you do a painting, we encourage you to post it on Rancho Cordova Art's Facebook page. Check out our instructional videos every weekday at 4 o'clock. Rancho Cordova Arts and I thank you for watching. Stay creative and have fun. I'll be back with more videos, so stay tuned.